talking globally than have talked in the past, but I think we need to talk a lot more. Secondly, they're going to be much more linked with technology, and it's not just broadband, it's other elements. And the third thing is the population is going to be much more mobile. And one of the issues that I think regional areas like this, and just about any regional area in Australia faces, you know, we talk about the two-speed economy. I've been doing a lot of work in northeast Tasmania. If you think you've got problems, go and have a look at what's happening in northeast Tasmania. They're 10 years further down the track in terms of the economy being hollowed out by a lot of the things we're talking about. People who are, you know, they're doing fly-in, fly-out jobs from northeast Tasmania. The two underlying things that they're working on, because really at the end of the day I think they're the only two things we've got. One is a sense of community and a community well-being, and the second is lifestyle and livability. We actually have entered a new age, I think, and that's the age where the vast majority of people can make a deliberate choice about where they live. You know, so much in the past people were tied to where they worked, and they didn't have the mobility. I'm sure if we did a poll across the audience, every second person here knows somebody whose one partner heads off 50 to 100 kilometres in one direction and the other one heads off 50 to 100 kilometres in the other direction. What have they done? They've chosen the place they want to live in. Now that's a luxury that we haven't had for a long period of time. You know, in the whole of human history, people couldn't make choices about where they're going to live. So it is critical that we get the community right, we get the well-being right, because that will drive one of the reasons why people choose particular locations.
I'll just stay with you briefly, Trevor. One thing that I was a bit surprised by when I was reading some material before I came here, and that is that tourism doesn't seem to play as big a part in the economy of this region as I thought it might have, as a complete outsider. And in terms of potential growth elements, I was at a conference recently where it was outlined that in the Asia-Pacific region, excluding the United States, right at this moment there are something like 500 million people who you would classify as middle class.
Yes.
And I think by 2020 it's going to be 1.7 billion, and by 2030 it's going to be 3.1 billion. Now a lot of those people are going to be coming to this country, and I think Australians have a great capacity. We can be very boastful about our sporting teams, but I think we can be unduly pessimistic and understated about the things that this country has to offer the rest of the world. And we just have this fantastic landscape, a great economy, infrastructure, stability, all sorts of natural wonders. And I would have thought there'd be an interesting challenge to work out how you get middle-class Chinese and Indians and various others to take a trip along the iconic Murray. But looking at tourism in the region as a whole rather than piecemeal.
I'm glad you mentioned tourism, because when you first asked the question, the first word that came into my head was tourism.